Second, I will start my live stream and my review. Talk about WWE. This is Jacob Cast 2024. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw review. They're in London, UK. The show went on pretty early. I think it started at 2 in the afternoon on the Eastern time, and it ended around 4:30. Alright, hold on. Just want to make sure that this live stream is on. Okay, here we go. So, my live stream is on. Now we can go to the masses here. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below if y'all want to see more. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. There's not that many matches to actually cover, maybe 3 or 4. This video is sponsored by PlayStation. It's sponsored by JD from New York, Salamoto Sound Off, Fightful, Pro Wrestling, and my other podcasters and YouTubers. Well, the show opened up with Obafemi and Jey Uso hyping up their match this Saturday at Night Champions. Monday Night Raw was fine. Not perfect, but it was just fine. Oh wait, hold on. Might as well cut the mats. So the show opened up with Jey Uso and Obafemi, no Brock Lesnar. We're not sure we're going to show up at the pay-per-view. We did get Brie Bella and Paige defending their women's tag team titles against Bayley and Lyra. Now because they're not on the game, might as well just use Bayley. Because after the match was over, a pretty good match, whatever. After the match was over, Lyra turned heel. Yet Lyra turned heel on Bayley, surprisingly. I was surprised it wasn't the other way around. I think Bayley better as a heel, but Lyra turned on Bayley and turned heel. That tag team was over. Even though that's a makeshift tag team, didn't make any sense. But Lyra turned heel, she attacked Bayley. Pretty good attack. Now we did get a 7 with Chad Gable and the Alpha Academy, Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Tozawa. Maxine Dupree shut down Chad Gable, saying that they won't apologize for we turned on them all those years ago. Yeah, because Chad Gable gonna be a babyface, and I don't know about Otis and Tozawa and Maxine. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, we got Ethan Page versus. He steals the win against Dragon Lee. Yes, Ethan Page, he beats Dragon Lee. We got Danhausen electrocute JD McDonough in the backstage segment. This is what I'm doing with Danhausen. Now we did get a face-to-face with Io Sky and Liv Morgan. They had like a brawl here. The hyping up that match. Io Sky teased that she could win and face Rhea, which I do think that is possible if Rhea cleared the wrestle. Rhea had no opponent to feud with. If Io Sky wins, she's not gonna face Rhea. Or she could face Liv. Who wants to see that match? You know, if we're getting the match at Night Champion, who wants to see that SummerSlam? Unless if Io Sky, maybe Rhea somehow forfeit the title and is on the line somehow. And Io somehow, I don't know. It's just real confusing with this Queen of the Ring. Real confusing. I don't know what they're doing here. Anyway, after that, Io Sky dropkicked Liv Morgan in the brawl that they had. After that, we got Seth Rollins discusses his feud with Braun Breaker in this segment with Corey Graves. They're hyping up that match at Night Champion, the steel cage match. Danhausen campaign. We got Solo Sikoa. He caught Jimmy Uso. The map was LA Knight. Yeah. Map was fine. LA Knight got the original because Solo got involved. I don't know why he's on Raw. Why we still building up the Bloodline storyline? The main event of this show was the Street Profits against the Vision for the World Tag Team titles. Oh wait. Alright. That it? These are the masses, the brawl, the masses on the show. Okay. New champion crown and missing name will turn. Jay-Z will be over Femi. He may not. Now I want to show you all my podcasters and the YouTubers. At least we got a title change. There's something interesting on this show. What can happen night champion? Can we do have 6 matches on the card? Now what match will be on the hour? On the first hour on ESPN? Now I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a live stream, like almost immediately after Night Champion. Got to go to a funeral with my dad. I will do a SmackDown live stream. I'll talk about my previews and predictions on that. Okay, I might as well just show everything else around here. Oh, actually, I probably shouldn't show all this.
How you guys doing? Side of, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. Like, the stories today were told for what it was.
Yeah, so, see if I can get this over with here. And then I'll show the other podcasters.
Hello, lady. And Austin does his job and puts over the Street Profits, and they'll be fine. Austin Theory is young. Austin Theory is still in the Vision. Ron Breaker's young. He's still
Liv
in the
Morgan
Vision.
injured before Night Champions.
In the Vision. They will be
When did he get
fine.
injured?
Trying to figure out what the best course of action is for that.
Both set
GCW
tag team titles.
Until next time, my friends, we are out. My bookie AG. Now, I am going to have a full.
Both set the tag team titles on the line.
Friday, November, December. And the guy has. It's crazy when I look at it. This was only his second singles match. I think that could work.
It's been a while since we saw Sean WhatsApp on his channel.
Obviously, the first year, the 2020, the Andrade girl thing, got but stepped in front of feed, but be the odds. The favorite.
Then it was a homecoming. For Paige, they were in London. They were in that also flopped.
Actually, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Alright. I did want to show the other podcast before I show
Wouldn't
some of them.
it make more sense to do the matches I just mentioned in the first hour? Hopefully make them good and interesting, and then say, right, subscribe now to ESPN Plus if you want to see the rest of this show. We're going to crown our King of the Ring winner. We're going to crown our Queen of the Ring winner. We've got a cage match coming up as well. And of course, a massive triple threat championship match. You don't want to miss this. I don't know. I just feel like we're giving away two really, really big matches here for free on TV.
Hey, what the hell? Oh, come on now. Why is it so damn slow? God damn it with this crap. Why is it so damn slow?
When there's friction between Dawkins and Montez, you're gonna tell me I can't run it back?
Why is it so damn slow? Come on now.
Okay, it's not like I made it, okay? It's not like I went out there and was like, look at me signing up Denise Salcedo. Let's fucking go.
You gotta get that, or was it that social media footprint that he's getting?
You think you get... You're not.
Social, you know what I'm saying?
But I'll just
You
punch
never
you in the
know,
face.
you know what I mean?
Hey, I saw yesterday I was on Instagram and I saw that this girl
Because you...
paid for her boyfriend or fiance or whatever
What in hell?
his World Cup tickets selling feet
Oh,
pics.
hey, that's...
Nice. That's what's up.
Right? And I'm like,
No.
That's true love.
damn. And then I saw that this couple also paid their bills because they posted pictures of him
But you're
putting
not...
Doritos
I told you
in
y'all
between
not
his
getting
wife's
justice.
toes.
Let the
And they
parents
started
decide. Why
selling
now?
those and they paid their bills off.
I think you have a problem.
So what I'm
If you
saying
have
is the
people who
demo
can...
is there. All right, let's get to this. Let's kick off our show. Ready, guys? In 3, 2, 1. Be angry at herself too because she trusted Bailey, because let's not forget where this started. Remember when Bailey was psychotic, when she was, not really all there, and Lyra was kind of, deciding, okay, should I be her friend? Should I not be her friend? Should I get away? Should I not? Then there was a time where Bailey started doubting herself and Lyra took a chance. And Lyra, I remember she would like slap Bailey to try to snap her out of this. She'd try to boost her morale. So she could probably tell the story of, hey man, like, you haven't been easy to deal with, but I took a chance on you. I took a chance on you when you wouldn't take a chance on yourself, when your mind wasn't in the right place, and I risked it all to be here with you and to make this team, and what do? You fail me, So I can see that being the direction of her psychosis into why she attacked Bailey. I think it's going to be part of her being angry with Bailey, but also her being angry at herself for seeing all of those red flags and still continuing the friendship with Bailey.
That's good. I just want one layer deeper. I'm thinking like with LA Knight going after Adam Pearce, with everybody having this thing about creative not, favoring certain superstars, I want Lyra to have that chip on her shoulder. I think it would add so much to her.
Do you think, though, that she feels not favored, though? She was Intercontinental Women's Champion.
Look at her bookings in SummerSlam, though. Just
but she can't be out. She can't go out there and be like, oh, they're booking me to lose. She can't say
she can say, like, ever since SummerSlam, I haven't been the same. Ever since SummerSlam, people haven't been treating me. Ever since SummerSlam, the people have been thinking, like, I'm the problem, and I'm not the problem. Let's start with that.
Okay, fine. Well, regardless of how they do the explanation, Sancho, I'm locked in on this. I'm so excited because I've been seeing the criticisms of the booking for Lyra. People have been kind of down in the dumps a little bit about how she's constantly losing, as you just mentioned. And now, this is going to spice things up. My favorite thing about this, I had a couple of things. One, I love the actual physical attack of Lyra on Bailey because I thought it looked really legit. Like if I was just about to turn on my friend over in Walmart for whatever reason, we just threw down in the parking lot.
Yeah, not
that's
even
probably
Target.
what it would
Okay.
look like.
Hey.
Probably not as good because I can't hit the way Lyra does, but what I'm saying is that it looked like a real attack, and that to me is what I liked. I love the crash out moment. I love how the blue eyeshadow was just falling down her face. I loved all of that. Then what I also want is for this, I feel like I have seen moments of Lyra where she has really shown that there's something more in her. Like she's just not this sweet little loving bird lady. No, there's more to her. She really truly is an angry bird. And I think that we're finally starting to see that here today. And I want them to take it further.
And you're not
I stole that from someone. I wish I could say I came up with that, but I stole that from someone and I loved it, so I'm passing it off as my own now.
What a classic mobile game, Angry Birds.
Yeah!
Were you a Flappy Bird person? Did you play Flappy Bird?
No, but I did take my siblings to go watch Angry Bird in theaters one time. I did do that. Yeah.
Well, what a ant? Your Aunt Denise?
Not an aunt. I said my siblings.
Your siblings?
Older sister. Cool older sister.
Oh. Do they call you Aunt Denise?
No, they call me Denise.
Denise. More like the nice.
Okay.
The nice. Okay. I get all this love for Lyra, and I'm just happy that they're doing something different than losing. That's exciting.
Yes. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not gonna
alright,
say
hey,
too
quick
much.
question though. How are you feeling about Brie and Paige as champions right now?
That's another thing that's a sticking point for my community as well. I feel like it's one of those things where they're just in a holding pattern until Nikki Bella returns, because that's where probably the easiest story to hand off to is like, hey, I'm back. Can I have to go back? Can I get back into it? Can we be the tag team champions with Bella twins? And then Paige, he doesn't want to, but I'm just ready for her to move on. Like that one sequence with Lyra and her getting the fisherman suplex and then her coming back with the rampage was like, man, yeah. If that was in a singles match, like, wow, that was one of the best matches between Lyra and Paige. And there's just so much on the table with Paige versus Liv, Paige versus Io, Paige versus Rhea. Like all those matchups, Paige versus Charlotte, all that can't happen until Paige leaves the tag team division.
So the reason why I asked you, and I'm glad that you're kind of feeling the same way I am, is because I'm not really feeling this. Like I thought it was really fun in the beginning, and I thought it's cute, nostalgia. But you know what I don't like about this? It's not necessarily them. It's more so that they don't have them speak really ever. They don't have them bonding backstage really ever, maybe like one or two segments, but
I see.
They don't really show very many interactions. They feel like they're in a picture. Like they don't really feel like they're real to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't explain it. I want to see their personalities. Why are they just going out there and not really getting to show their personalities? Two of the people that have probably the most personality ever in both Brie and Paige. They got hella funny personalities. Why can't we see any of that?
It's temporary. It's a temporary fix. It wasn't meant to be. And at the same time, I think you're wanting Charlotte and Alexa out of it. They spent so much time with Charlotte and Alexa out of it.
Temporary. It's been 3 months, bro. They've been champions for 3 months.
I was going to say, you've been married for 3 months?
3 months. What? April, May, June.
True, I know, but I think it's like I said, it's a temporary solution because Nikki Bella was supposed to be in this role. I think without Nikki's injury, we don't even have Paige to begin with. I don't think Paige exists in WWE without the injury. I feel like it's a last minute pull, and then the WWE, I think, is surprised that Paige can still go. I'm not surprised. I mean, Paige has been doing this forever, almost her entire life. So I'm just excited for the.
With Maxine. Maxine's eventually going to break their hearts when she leaves the division, and then that is how we end up reuniting Otis, Tozawa, and Chad Gable.
I still think Chad versus Otis was so right there, ready to go. It would have hit so much harder if we actually saw a match between those two. I would say Chad definitely degraded Maxine the most out of everybody in Alpha Academy, so I like that she held on to that and didn't forget. But it's still interesting to me how the people would boo that, you know? I think the WWE could have done a better job to show, maybe they give us a thing like where later afterwards where Otis and Tozawa ask her what's up, and then she really nails that a little bit harder because it was really good. And I have to say, Chad Gable has upgraded his promo style too. Like he trusts himself to not overdo it or be a pro wrestler. He was just himself because it was very reminiscent of the way he cut that promo after he took off his mask in Mexico. I thought that was really great to see Chad able to command the audience in London, and they didn't cheer or anything. I'm not saying that London does that, but they didn't interrupt what Chad was doing when he was not emoting big enough. Does that make sense? He made it very intimate and with each and every person, Tozawa, Otis, and Maxine. And I thought it really worked for the segment because when Maxine blows up on him and tells him about all the wrongs he did to her, it really works. And then leaving Chad by himself, I was like, great, perfect.
He did a really good, feel bad for me face,
Yeah, he was, there was moments where he was talking to Otis when he was talking about Otis holding his kids when they were born, he really voice was breaking, and I thought that was yeah, that's what it's about. I think Chad discovered that if he could be vulnerable as a person like he was in Mexico, it will win him over as a talent. And I'm just hoping that the WWE doesn't, like we mentioned the first time when he was looked at Maxine and Austin Theory, that it doesn't, I don't want him to chase for Maxine's forgiveness. I want him to move on to the Intercontinental title as much fast as possible.
I think they'll play it up a little bit more for sure, though. I think they kind of have to, especially to kind of give Maxine more of that, wicked vibe. Kid, look at her not forgiving him.
We know Austin Theory is now going to take over, and I just don't want Chad Gable to have his sights on Austin Theory in the division. There's no end goal for him to go after the division. There's no title. Unless Braun Breaker ends up with a title, but that seems like that's not in the cards either. So he just needs to keep going after Penta. But I said this before, I don't think WWE is ready to take the title off of Penta anytime soon.
Nah, he's been doing really extraordinary. We got Oscar Lara. Hey, he says Chad's apology let Alpha Academy down. To ensure your downstairs never lets anyone down, try Blue Chew Gold. Ask Steve. Hey! You don't want to let anyone down. Blue Chew Gold. Promo code Denise.
Nobody asked for trying
all the way up.
Let's go. All the way up.
I know what more.
Thank you, Oscar. All right, we got a conversation between Liv Morgan and Io Sky, and also I want to add this to the fallout breakdown of the Judgment Day. Danhausen cursed JD McDonough. Poor Fang was out there twitching. He got electrocuted. Eyes rolling in the back of his head wobbling, and there's drama with the Judgment Day, of course. Liv Morgan is not really caring about anyone's issues but herself. Kind of disregarded Roxanne Perez. There's a lot here. Where do you want to begin with this?
Isn't this Judgment Day always breaking apart type of thing?
Yeah, but this time I felt like it was even more noticeable.
Nah, it's always going to be that way with them. They almost look like they're going to break up, and then it reminds me of Entourage. You ever seen Entourage on HBO?
No, I haven't actually.
Well, in that show, Vinny Chase always feels like he's about to be down and out, where all the boys are going to be broke, and he get kicked out of the mansion, and all of a sudden Ari Gold comes in and gives Vinny Chase a movie, and they're boom, they're back at it again. So as soon as the Judgment Day gets gold, everything's better. But it's interesting that this time, even though Liv Morgan's sitting on top of the women's division as a champion, things are seemingly getting worse for them. I'm interested, what's going on with Finn? Finn Balor's gone. He's on SmackDown now, so they don't have that Roxy Finn Balor type of espionage thing going. And I think that the comeuppance of Judgment Day would be Liv Morgan. But I don't know. I just feel without anything leading them or pushing them along, it hurts me. It hurts me.
I think the tournament is supposed to be the thing that leads this on to the, bullshit shenanigans that is bound to play out here.
So are you saying that Roxy interferes against Io versus Liv? Because
or Raquel, because Raquel, when Roxanne said, "Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Liv winning," Raquel was like, "Oh."
Well, they wanted to be tag. So Roxy and Raquel were talking about being tag team champions, and then Liv comes in and says, "No, you go after the IC title, and then we don't." Well, not for. I mean, they could always revisit it, but not for two titles, because then if you look at it, that means the entire women's division would be all focused back on tag teams and mid card, because the upper division would be taken care of by both Liv and Rhea. So it's that'd be hard. That's a long time away from SummerSlam to just be building up Liv and Rhea.
I also don't want to revisit that. They feuded for like a whole year, Sancho, maybe more.
They feuded when one of them was out. One of them was always out for injury. But I just don't see any stakes in Rhea versus Liv this time around. But Rhea versus Io is that thing that
he killed so many people. They were
the only thing that they could lean on
he
there
killed
too.
6 people.
I just don't think they.
He killed 6
The best story for me would have been Raquel being in the tournament, Raquel beating Liv, and then Raquel having that chance to beat her at SummerSlam. I think that to me would have hit harder, but I don't know. I didn't think they saw the money in that compared to having a possible Io versus Rhea or Liv versus Rhea.
We got Yes Boy here says, I can never see Denise again the same way after she admitted she gives reverse devil's kiss on the daily. Shout out to the husband, still live. Now you have to make awkward eye contact with me.
They died this week.
Sancho closed his eyes. He's like, I can't make eye contact.
Can't.
Are you an eye contact person? Like, can you make eye contact when someone's talking to you? There's a lot of people who can't.
I look at the.
No, in person. I mean, in person.
Yeah, I look at right here.
They were stabbing their
Oh, you don't actually look at their eyes, though? I do. I make hardcore eye contact. If I'm talking to you, I'll be giving eye contact. Like,
I make more eye contact to people at like McDonald's and things like that to let them know, like, hey, I know that you're a person and I'm not. You know what I mean? You're like
you're not bouge. Yeah.
Yeah, like. I get this. I used to be you. I used to work fast food. I know it's crappy. Let's get. Let me know that, hey, quick little human connection. We're good to go. There's a person in my McDonald's that knows who I am because he listened to the podcast, and I recognize his voice.
Awesome.
I recognize his voice when he's in the drive-thru. I'm like, Ruben!
He's like, here comes Sancho again for his chicken McNuggets.
My little nugs.
What's your McDonald's order?
A 6-piece Happy Meal because I like giving them toys to my kid. And sometimes 1 or 2 cheeseburgers plain. Okay,
that's cool. What about the drink?
Oh, the drink is Diet Coke. I used to be a Sprite person, but a lot of sugar in there.
Mine is a 10-piece chicken McNugget meal with barbecue sauce and a sweet iced tea.
Sweet iced tea. I like the 10-piece. I like the 10-piece. Can't go wrong with the 10-piece.
Oh yeah, nice little crunch.
You know, you could get them extra fried. You can double fry it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I'm good with the normal fried, though.
Oh, well done. You get that extra crunch, that extra fried juice.
I also like to get the apple pies, too. Those are pretty good.
That's a special occasion for me.
Yeah. We got Infamous Very Loco here. It says, live shorts help with my pain today. Get the... Oh, live shorts. Excuse me. I was like, live shorts. Live shorts help my pain today. Get the tank. Yo, Liv and Maxine today? Wow.
I thought Liv was great in terms of her injury. I thought everyone was worried that, Sol Ruka took her out. And Liv tweeted out she's fine, but she moved well, and she did that in stilettos. I was like, who could move like that in stilettos and take a bump like that? Damn.
That's really...
Nacho, we gotta get you in some stilettos, see if you can make it happen.
I would look like a giraffe.
Thank you, Frank. We got Yes Boy here who says, why does Santi and Sancho keep calling Jacob's finisher the Tongan death word?
Why stop putting me in it?
What's going on over there at that channel?
It's not me. It's not me, because you know what? That day when I interviewed Jacob Batu, and he's going to be like, why do you refer to my most sacred finisher in my family, the Tongan dick grip? That's not what I do, okay?
No matter what you think of the healthcare, murder is not acceptable.
Why are you always acting like the innocent one, Sancho? You always blame me. You always blame Sancho.
No matter what you think of the healthcare, and we all hate the healthcare, and know that it's terrible.
You're like, I just show up in my little bucket hat.
Murder is not acceptable.
Say hello to my kids afterwards.
That's violence and intimidation.
Thank you, Yes Boy. Alrighty, let's see. The last thing we gotta get into is the Street Profits.
No. You're overlooking LA Knight just because you mentioned him sentence and then you said it was the worst downturn. That's where the show started to dip when it was LA Knight and Jimmy. You can go back, reverse, back up the truck and talk about LA Knight and Adam Pearce for a second.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Guess what? I don't care.
Wow, you don't care that LA Knight actually appeared in like the first 15 minutes of Monday Night Raw? How impressive was that? That my man's moving up, and at the same time, LA Knight still gets the biggest pops. He still has the
Yeah, I'm not against that. A battle royal is harmless. I don't see why not.
You don't like it? Too bad.
Thank you, Adam, for Christ. Alrighty, guys. So there you have it. Oh, we didn't talk about the Street Profits. That's right.
You said they were the vegetables, Denise. What's more to say? You said...
Alrighty, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Operation Pizza is a go. Ready, throw.
But he is in the best shape that I have seen him in. He's probably in the best shape typically. And for the most part, that wasn't really the case for large chunks of the show, which tells you that there were a lot of people in the audience who were very disinterested in what they were watching. But we had another Vision main event, so I won't fault you if that didn't get your gears going. Another Vision main event here on this show. But it paid off with brand new tag team champions being crowned. They put their tag team titles on the line against the Street Profits. This was after cameos from Joe Hendry. Yes, he lives. He's alive. Joe Hendry was back briefly, literally on the show for maybe 20 seconds. And then Seth Rollins came out, and he also made an appearance, and he provided the assist, and in the end we had new tag team champions 4 times over for the Street Profits. 5 if you want to count their run from NXT. Credit to Angelo Dawkins, I will say. That man has clearly put the work in. Just he is in the best shape that I have seen him in. He's probably in the best shape that he's been in since he came to the Performance Center. And he came to the PC a long time ago, probably over a decade ago. But he put the work in, and he's looking pretty good these days. So we got new tag team champions crowned. We had the return of Joe Hendry, and we got Lyra Valkyria turning heel on Bayley, which is not something that I was expecting. I don't know that Lyra Valkyria has ever been heel in her career. So this is going to be something different, and I don't know if she can pull it off. I don't know that I trust WWE, frankly, to allow her to pull it off, because we've seen heel turns that have flopped in this company before. I could think of a major one last year that also flopped. But it is something different. You know, Lyra has just sort of been spinning her wheels, doing not much of anything for a while now, so I don't hate it. I'm not against it. I just question whether or not she can be successful, because she's a great baby face. You know, but there are great baby faces that go on to become great heels. Maybe she'll be one of those people. One person who we did not get on the show tonight was Brock Lesnar. I thought maybe there was a chance. There was still a chance that Brock could show up. He could take Obafemi out of the King of the Ring. I knew going in that it was unlikely. But there was no Brock Lesnar appearance. We did, however, get one final stare-down, showdown, face-to-face, between the finalists in the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. So we had Obafemi, we had Jey Uso, Yeet, and then we had Liv Morgan, who thankfully is okay. We had a little scare the other day with Liv, but she's fine. Liv Morgan and Io Sky. They're going to be in the finals of the Queen of the Ring. They were on the show as well. Chad Gable was on the show. He was there to apologize to the Alpha Academy. Maxine Dupree, though, was not willing to accept his apology. We'll talk about what happened there. We even got a cameo here from Solo Sikoa. Hey, Lions Today, what's going on? Shout out to Lions Today. And everybody else who's able to join here, because the stream is at 5 o'clock in the evening. So there are people in other countries who normally can't join live, who hopefully will be able to drop by. Even Solo Sikoa dropped by here on the show tonight. He made a cameo. Couldn't help this show, though. Again, I thought for the most part it was pretty flat, but we're going to go through everything that happened here. This is your Raw on Netflix review. It is Monday, June 22nd, 2026. I am the Solid Monster. Hit that like button and subscribe button. Super chats are open. If you want to drop one, I will be reading them here in a little bit. We are going to spin the wheel, and I don't know how this is going to go because we're at a weird time. We're not going to have as many people as usual. We can hope for a low number. Maybe if we land low enough, we can hit the goal. What do you think? Let's find out.
Well, no one takes Omar seriously.
Ooh, that's definitely not a low number. That is definitely not a low number. Hey, Frank. Puerto Rico is listening, he says. Shout out to Puerto Rico. We had a hell of a parade here in the city about a week ago. Well, 700 likes is going to be impossible unless we get more people in here, but don't give up hope. You never know. That's the goal here if we want to do Be the Booker later. 700. All right, let's go ahead and start from the very top here. We'll work our way through this show. And then once we're done here, I got some final prep work to do for the Uncrowned Wrestling Show, which is going to be dropping tomorrow. If you missed the Sound Off, episode 968, number 2, wrestling podcast episodes everywhere in the country on Apple Podcasts in the wrestling category, and there are a lot of wrestling shows. Number 2 is the Sound Off from yesterday, so thank you for that. But go back and check that out when we're done here. If you have not yet listened to yesterday's episode, it's pretty good. Covered a lot of ground there. Obafemi covers a lot of ground as well. When he takes a step, when he's walking down the aisle, when he's walking down the street, he definitely takes up a lot of space. He's a big guy. And he strutted down to the ring. He was not in his wrestling attire. He looked like he was ready to hit the club. He got in the ring. Fans were just going nuts for him. They were chanting his name for a very long time. And to the point where he told them, okay, settle down. Settle down. Oba said that he's been backed by Destiny since he was born. She's been very good to him. He credited Destiny for all of his accomplishments. He said it would play into this weekend when he becomes the King of the Ring. He said if he wins, he gets to challenge the champion of his choosing, which is the first time I believe that they have actually come right out and said that in those words. We could pretty much surmise that from the fact that Roman Reigns was telling Jey Uso to go after the other championship. Liv Morgan's been talking about how she wants it all. She's going to win the other title from Rhea Ripley. But I think this may have been the first time we've heard one of the wrestlers actually go out there and say that we get to pick the champion of our choosing. So he questioned whether he should go after the WWE Championship, and the reaction from the crowd was very tepid. It was very like, eh. Or should he go after the World Heavyweight Championship? And everybody cheered because that's the title they want. That's the man they want him to go after. They want to see Obafemi against Roman Reigns. So Jey Uso's entrance music interrupted, and he made his way yeeting through the crowd all the way down to the ring. Crowd wanted him to run it back. Oba said, if you're thinking about running it back, I'm going to put an end to that right now. And see, that was a mistake. I would not have had him say that, unless he went off and said that on his own. Because literally 2 seconds later, Jey Uso ran it back anyway. And Oba just stood there and he looked like a goof. If you're going to stand there and say that, you're not going to run it back, I'm going to make sure of that, and then 2 seconds later, you know, the guy is on the ropes and he's yeeting again, and you don't go over and destroy him, it makes you look like a friggin' loser. Like, you can't back up your words. So I wouldn't have said that. But anyway, so Jay said, you must have forgotten. I'm him. He added that he was counted out. The people counted him out when he won the Royal Rumble. They counted him out when he won the World Heavyweight Championship. They counted him out when he entered the King of the Ring. They're counting out the possibility that he could win King of the Ring. Right? At every step of the way, people have counted him out. So Jay said that he would climb this mountain on Saturday. He guaranteed that he would become world champion. He declared this was Oba's warning shot. And Oba wondered if that meant that Jay would be shooting for real that night. What? The prospect of Jey Uso shooting on Obafemi is just this hilarious visual to me. It is not something that I would recommend. I will say that if Obafemi and Jey Uso are in the ring together, and Jey Uso begins shooting on Obafemi, it's going to be a bad night for Jey Uso. So that's something I would avoid. But Oba said, look, he warned him not to miss. Don't miss. If you're going to take your shot, don't miss, or I'm going to destroy you. And even if you don't miss, I'm going to destroy you anyway. He said Jay isn't the family member he's really worried about. And Oba told him, take your stupid bullets and give them to your cousin. Fans like that. So it was pretty well established here in this segment what the fans want to see here, the match that they want to see. I guess the only question is, do we actually get it at SummerSlam, or is this something they're going to hold off on for Saudi Mania next year? Because that really is the big match, right? Roman Reigns, Obafemi. In terms of putting him in the ring with somebody new, Obviously, the bigger match would be Roman and The Rock. But Roman and Ova is one of the biggest matches they could do. I just don't know that they want to be giving it away this soon. Still a possibility he could win and he could go on to pick Roman at SummerSlam. Beyond that, though, very basic segment. One thing I did notice, when Jay comes through the crowd and he's yeeting and he's got to run it back and he's yeeting and he's all fired up, right? He's very intense on these promos, and he was so winded. He gassed himself out before he even started speaking. I was like, get this man an oxygen mask. That was very noticeable. Otherwise, this was a very basic segment. We go backstage. Adam Pearce is on the phone. He runs into LA Knight, who accuses him of being on the phone with the Bloodline. Jimmy Uso walks up. He asks LA Knight what his problem is. He tried to help him last week, but LA hit him with a chair. So they start yelling, and, Knight said he didn't like the fact that Jimmy or Pierce, I think it was, suggested they have a match. Tonight it's going to be LA Knight against Jimmy Uso. And LA Knight, he didn't like that idea. He said, that's a terrible idea. I got a better idea. How about tonight it's LA Knight against Jey Uso, or Jimmy Uso. I don't even know which one it is. Jimmy Uso. And Jimmy said, that's what he just said. And LA says, well, I don't hear what he says. I don't pay attention to what he says. So we had an impromptu match made for later in the show. Then it was a homecoming for Paige. They were in London. They were in the UK. And it was Paige and Brie Bella defending the women's tag team titles against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Now, before the match, Jackie Redmond interviewed Lyra and Bayley in the back. Lyra was all excited. She was all amped up. This match was her idea. This match is a match that she got herself, and she said they've had no luck all year. It was all supposed to happen tonight. And Bayley says that they've been the best tag team in this division for a long time. Lyra got the match for them. Tonight's the night. So once the bell rang, immediately Lyra hit Paige with an enziguri and a drop kick. Later on, Bayley dropped Brie with her belly-to-Bayley suplex. Paige, though, yanked Brie out of the ring to break up the pin. So the challengers, they got heat on Brie for a while during one of the breaks. Brie came back with a drop kick. Some tags were made. Paige came in. She went wild for a little bit. She went for the Paige Turner. Lyra countered into a Nightwing for a near fall. Bayley went for the belly-to-belly again on Brie, but she sent her out to the floor instead. And Valkyria hit a Fisherman's Buster on Paige. And it looked like she was trying for a second one. Paige, though, countered into the Rampage and spiked her down on her head, and she got the pin to retain the title. So Brie Bella and Paige are still your women's tag team champions. But the big story here wasn't the match, it was what happened after the match. So the match is over. Bayley goes over to check on Lyra. Now, you know something bad's going to happen. Lyra heel turn. Really, I mean, if you think about it, Lyra has been floundering for a while now. Obviously in storyline they've lost and lost and lost. But really, since she got bounced out of the IC title picture, they've had nothing for her. She's been on the back burner. She hasn't really been a factor on these shows. Maybe the heel turn could help get her back into the mix. Sol Ruca, by the way, she is the Intercontinental Champion. They just had a match recently. She beat Lyra, another loss. Now that Lyra's gone heel, who knows? Maybe she comes back around to Sol, and that's how the segment came to an end. And there was a little more to Maxine's promo. I thought that, first of all, I thought her delivery in the promo she cut was good. She's another one who, kind of like Lyra, has just been on the back burner for a while. They haven't really had anything for her to do. We got the whole match. He went one-on-one with Ethan Page. There was a wild suicide dive here by Dragon Lee that knocked Page into the announce desk. It sent himself floating over the desk and into the barricade. He hit more of the desk, honestly, than he hit Ethan. Page, by the way, was sporting a black eye, or like a shiner under the eye. It didn't happen on that spot. It had to happen earlier. I just didn't see how. But he set up, Dragon did, for a Styles Clash, and Page headbutted him low. And then steel cage on Saturday. The Street Profits, they don't know sacrifice. Logan Paul says that he wants to take his foot, and it looked like Liv may have suffered an injury, and the match ended shortly thereafter. And I guess it was bad enough that Sol Ruca has gone dark on her ex. I think her tweets now are protected and you can't see anything. I only saw some of it, and it was bad enough. Again, I can only imagine the kind of shit that she was getting from this one clip. You know, people talk about, oh, we need more house shows. WWE needs more house shows. The talent needs to get more reps, which, by the way, is 100% true. There should be more house shows. They should have the ability to go out there and wrestle and get, and especially the people they call up from NXT, to work with the more experienced veterans and just get better and hone their craft. Absolutely, I agree with that. But can you imagine? They start doing house shows more. We're going to see more clips and the slightest little botch science experiment. Doing so hot. She said he wanted an apology from Chad because he's the king of the luchador. But maybe the crowd just wasn't interested in what the fuck they were watching. And that's the case with most of these WWE crowds. When we talk about, man, the crowd was fucking quiet. I could hear the fucking air conditioner vents. And the question you should be asking is why? What didn't work here that the crowd was so quiet for this? Instead of blaming the crowd and saying, well, this crowd sucked. Maybe the show sucks. Maybe stop blaming the fans and take a look at what you're seeing on TV and try to figure out why the fans are not into what they're seeing. That's just a suggestion. I just put that out there. Both teams made tags. Montez hit a super kick and a standing moonsault for a near fall. Theory hit a rolling clothesline on Ford. Breaker came in. They're also mostly in AAA now. Same thing with Julio and Bruto. And then you got Alpha Academy. Oh, what a fucking tag team division you got on this show. There's no division. So, I mean, it's great that they won the belts, but now reality sets in. It's like, well, what's next? A rematch with the Vision, I guess. I don't know, because they don't have a division. That's the big problem. But anyway, Night of Champions is coming up on Saturday. I had a whole rundown of the card. 6 matches. We have the finals of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. We have a triple threat for the WWE Championship. We have a women's U.S. title match. And we have a men's U.S. title match. So I have the full predictions on Soundoff 968. Again, the podcast went up yesterday. And tomorrow on the Uncrowned Wrestling Show, we'll talk more about Night of Champions, but I'll also have predictions for Forbidden Door, which I did not do yesterday. So that will be on Uncrowned tomorrow. And as far as the Raw show itself, that's what I got for it. So now, unify the tag team titles, says BlissFan. Now, you would think that that would be the sensible thing to do. I've been advocating for that ever since they de-unified them. Honestly. It's been a couple of years now. But honestly, like, it wouldn't even make that much of a difference. It absolutely is something they should do. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. But I also don't think that it's sort of a fix. It's a fix to a problem, but the problem is much larger than just unifying the belts. Even if you unify them, you still don't have much of a tag team division. Tag team wrestling in WWE right now is dead. It's dead. It was alive and well on SmackDown for a period of time over a year and a half ago. But that was a long time ago at this point. And now we're in this dead period, this dead zone when it comes to tag team wrestling. We don't have real teams, right? You got some makeshift teams. We don't have real teams. And I think if they were serious enough and wanted to put the effort in to rebuild the tag team division, it's something that's just going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not enough to just call up a couple of teams like Hank and Tank or something from NXT. Like, you're going to have to really recruit teams and bring them in. And they clearly have no interest in doing that. You know, they've actually let go of multiple teams. The New Day is gone. The Motor City Machine Guns are gone, right? I mean, so you would think if they were serious about really beefing up their tag team division, that those are teams they would have held on to, and they didn't. So it's unfortunate, but, you know, people who just kind of throw that out there, oh, just unify the belts, you just got to understand that even if they do, you still have major problems that are just not going to be fixable overnight in this company. I mean, I like tag team wrestling as much as the next person, but WWE does not.
Now, if Bobby Lashley
Alright, the goal was 700 likes, which was a very ambitious goal. We are currently at 381. So that is not going to happen. However, I am going to read your super chats here. So if you have any you want to send in, get them on in, because when we're done, we're done. So let's take a look at what we got here.
It's never been just about me. It's about my people.
So get
Ones who
Braun
show up
Strowman,
on
yes,
every
they
step of the
added
way.
Braun Strowman.
That's the whole point of this tournament, but whatever. Stupid. The Women's World Champ is now being set up to win a tournament to go after the other belt when she hasn't defended the one she has now. She hasn't defended the one she has now, and you want to give her a new belt. Fuck you. Io Sky needs to win. Fuck you. Absolutely not. I don't care. Like Obafemi, I don't care what you do going after that. If you want to have Io beat Liv and then beat her again at SummerSlam, fine. Does it make Liv look like a weak champion? Fuck it. She already looks like a weak champion. She already looks weak. I don't care. If you want to have Liv lose as a result of Stephanie Verker interfering, whatever. And then set up Stephanie and Liv, do that. I don't care. Io Sky can go fight Rhea Ripley if Rhea Ripley's healthy. I don't care what you gotta do. Do not have Liv beat Io Sky. And I'm serious. I really don't want to see Jey Uso and Liv Morgan win the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments this year. That would just be creative malpractice by WWE. And I mean that. It would be creative malpractice. What are we doing? Like, who wants to see that? And it's unnecessary. Someone said Liv Morgan sucks as champion. Listen, I love Liv. I think Liv's a great talent. This is some of the worst booking I've seen any champion have. This is awful. Do I want to go that far? I'm lively to say Liv Morgan might be the worst women's champion I've seen. At least this title reign. This is one of the worst, if not the worst, women's title reign I've seen. This is awful. Y'all couldn't have her defended once. And now she's about... Again, this is assuming that Io Sky is winning, as she should. Now she's about to lose. She's about to lose a match as the champ. And y'all can get...
In main events that fans want to see. Part 3, we... Excuses. WWE has... There's no captivating characters that we want to invest our time in. Everybody that's writing for these companies, I don't think understands the gravity of how important episodic, true episodic, week-to-week television is to the overall health of, say, a flagship show like Monday Night Raw. It's the go-home show for Night of Champions. 9 times out of 10, if you were to say that I'm not watching this show, they don't do anything anyway to further any storylines or enhance on anything they've already built going into the pay-per-view, you would be correct. If there is any show that you could skip on the WWE calendar, more than likely it is a show before a pay-per-view. Triple H did absolutely nothing to get you excited about anything happening on Saturday afternoon in Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions. The biggest thing that we were all looking forward to tonight is what WWE would do with Obafemi and Jey Uso. We all figured that there would be a face-to-face. There'd be words thrown back and forth, getting us ready for what is to come, which I don't know if you guys heard what's going on. The King and Queen of the Ring matches are taking place on ESPN. They are starting the show. If you needed any further confirmation on if Brock Lesnar's going to be in Saudi Arabia, Brock usually shows up first and then goes the fuck home. I don't want to throw it out there and be a damper on anybody's mood here on this Monday, but WWE announced that the King and Queen of the Ring matches will be taking place to start the show. So Oba and Jey Uso are going to open the show. Again, I'm sorry, Chad. I didn't want to burst your bubbles, but if you didn't pick up on that little piece of information that they just conveniently dropped on the show tonight, that's exactly what they said. It's exactly what they said. Everybody was looking forward to seeing what Oba and Jay would result in tonight on Raw. One of the biggest fan speculations, one of the biggest fan theories, has been Brock Lesnar, who has been name-dropped every single week coming out of Clash in Italy by Obafemi, done by design.
Oh, I like opening the show. Opening the show.
If Brock Lesnar was going to show up and take out Obafemi. Now, there's two theories. One,
I like to open the show, like, go home early.
Brock would take out Oba tonight, which he did not.
I'm Canadian. I live in
Brock would take out Oba tonight. Oba would not be medically cleared to compete in the finals. That would result in Brock versus Oba at SummerSlam, Part 3. We end it there in Minneapolis. Who they fill in for Obafemi? Maybe returning Randy Orton, maybe returning CM Punk. Both rumored to be continuing feuds with Cody Rhodes at the end of the summer. That did not happen. That did not happen tonight. And I said while I streamed, when I got back from Chicago on Saturday night, we were live for the one-day late SmackDown review, which you guys fucking killed it, by the way. You guys showed up. We did over 35,000 views live for that particular stream. You guys are awesome. I said it on that night. I said it on Saturday night. I am giving it till Monday. Jay beat Javon Evans on Friday Night SmackDown. He advanced to the finals by beating Javon Evans clean. Javon sold the rib injury that he suffered from Braun Breaker on Monday last week, but Jay pretty straightforward beat Javon Evans. I said it Saturday night. I'm giving it till Monday to see if Brock Lesnar shows up and answers all of our prayers. He did not answer any of our prayers. Now we go into Saturday, and we have legitimately one WWE show left, which is being taped tomorrow, and will air at its normal time slot, Friday, 8 p.m. I can only hope the crowd is a little bit more lively for what happens tomorrow night when they tape SmackDown. Brock Lesnar did not answer any of our prayers. Now we go into Saturday with no Brock Lesnar appearance, and a one-on-one match that pits Obafemi versus Jey Uso in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. Mixed with what I just told you mere minutes ago, WWE announced that the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring will open Night of Champions on ESPN proper. I am to assume that the men will open the show, and they're going to want to start the show with Obafemi. That's tailor-made for a Brock Lesnar appearance because Brock likes to get done, especially if he's not working. He doesn't want to sit around and be there when he doesn't have to. His time is money. This now lends to the other theory that Brock Lesnar will show up in Saudi Arabia, cost Obafemi when the clock strikes 12, cost him the King of the Ring. We get a match between Oba and Brock at SummerSlam 3 in Minneapolis. Jey Uso goes on to win the King of the Ring and challenge either Cody Rhodes, which Roman wants him to, or he could challenge Roman Reigns and defy the Tribal Chief, which is still very much on the table, seeing that him and Jacob Fatu do not get along, and Roman is really giving Jacob Fatu preferential treatment. He's now the new henchman. He's the new right-hand man of this Bloodline 2.0. if Triple H legitimately books Brock Lesnar to cost Obafemi the King of the Ring, and we are stuck with Jey Uso challenging either of the world champions, this may be the worst creative decision that the man will ever make, as long as he is head of creative for WWE. If Jey Uso wins the King of the Ring, Triple H should actively be removed from creative. I've heard all these theories. Oh, well, JD, why don't you speak for yourself, man? JD, you gotta understand Triple H. He's having the strings pulled by Ari Emanuel, JD. Motherfucker, Triple H is making these decisions on his own. I don't need Ari Emanuel to make a fucking decision on Jey Uso. It was Triple H's idea to give Jey Uso the Royal Rumble. It was Triple H's idea to give Jey Uso the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And it's Triple H's idea to run this bloodline slop for a 7th year in a row. Or however many years is it? We're still in the 3rd inning. It's Triple H's idea to push this fucking hack towards another world championship. And I don't really understand why. I don't know how I need to spell it out for everybody. I don't know what I need to do. Do I need to fucking sign the screen that you're watching with my own fucking blood? Do I need to send out smoke signals? Do I need to dance in the fucking street and yell from the highest fucking light post in New York City? The bloodline is why the interest is down! Cody Rhodes is the reason why the interest is down! Boring! Nobody wants to see Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes. No one wants to see Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. I don't know what the fuck has possessed these people, but they must hate professional wrestling. They must hate everything professional wrestling if they think that this man should be main eventing SummerSlam. That is if Brock Lesnar shows up on Saturday afternoon and costs Obafemi, which is a realistic possibility. The other fan theory, which is less likely, but it's still very much on the table. If I was to compare the two theories, I would say Brock Lesnar costing Obafemi, giving Jey Uso the King of the Ring is about 90% going to happen. Less than 10%, I would say, is this other theory that Obafemi wins. Just outright, Obafemi beats Jey Uso. He's the King of the Ring. Obafemi challenges Roman Reigns. We get our Night 2 main event for SummerSlam. Obafemi, Roman Reigns, World Heavyweight Championship. He could challenge Cody Rhodes. That's not off the table either. He could challenge Cody Rhodes. But Roman Reigns, he made mention of Roman Reigns tonight. And I think that's the match that the fans want to see. At the same time, if Oba wins the King of the Ring, he's mentioned Brock Lesnar every single week coming out of Clash in Italy. The other theory is Brock Lesnar shows up, takes out Oba. I mean, if he wanted to take him out, you might as well just go all the way and take him out and not have him win King of the Ring after he's already exclaimed that he wants Brock Lesnar's head as a trophy on his mantle, and he called him a bitch and questioned his manhood. I mean, if I'm Brock Lesnar and we know anything about Brock Lesnar over 25 years, I would say that Brock Lesnar is going to fuck Obafemi up and show him who the boss is. And that's take King of the Ring away from him. But just say, if Oba beats Jey Uso, Oba challenges Roman, and we still have this shadow of Brock Lesnar looming over Oba Femi. The other theory is Brock comes back, Brock challenges Oba to a match in the main event of night one. I don't know if they'll go to these lengths. Maybe Brock puts his career on the line, maybe Oba puts a championship opportunity on the line. I don't know the ins and outs of what they may be thinking. All I know is the other theory is Oba wins King of the Ring, Oba wrestles Brock on night one, Oba beats Brock on night one, Oba gets Roman on night two. So, now, listen, I know a lot of people are up in the air about this particular theory. If we're going to run the WrestleMania 40 gameplay, if we're going to run this play from WrestleMania 40 here in SummerSlam 2026 with Oba and Roman, it doesn't even make sense why you would do that with Oba, Brock, Roman, the Bloodline. None of them have anything to do with each other. The thing that made the two-night ordeal special is that everything that happened with the characters on night one directly was television, the main part of television, for 2 months. Everything that happened over every week of television led to that night one, which then had a direct effect on what happened on night two with the same characters. You're gonna give me Oba and Brock on night one. What does Brock have to do with Roman and the Bloodline that you want to include night one leading into night two? That's number one. The seamless transition from night one into night two with the characters and the stories that you're speculating about don't even make sense. None of it works. None of it flows into each other like it did in Philadelphia. This isn't Cody Rhodes finishing his story. Oba's got no story to tell with Roman Reigns. None. Everybody just wants him to win the championship because they're tired of the fucking Bloodline. Number two, and this is the most important of everything I'm about to tell you. This company has been fucking utter garbage since WrestleMania 40. I could count maybe on one fucking hand how many things that I genuinely were A, shocked by, or B, enjoyed, that I'd go back and relive over again for a moment. There's no particular matches that I care for outside of the usual CM Punk stuff. There may be a Cody match there, a Cody match here I'll go back and watch. Or a promo segment here and a promo segment there. For the last 24 months plus, this company has absolutely been dog shit, uncreative, lazy, boring. And the most damning of all these words, Chad, is that this company has been safe. Triple H is the type of guy that's going to wear a fucking umbrella in the shower just so that he doesn't get wet. Triple H is the type of guy that's going to have Stephanie McMahon hold his hand while he crosses the street. This man does not know how to take any risks. Otherwise, he'd risk fucking speeding up his pacemaker. He can't handle it. Triple H lives with Sesame Street. Elmo, the Count. This show sucks. Ha, ha, ha. Yes. Oscar the Grouch. And whoever else I'm missing. Bert and Ernie. Do you genuinely think, after everything that you've been given, after every feeling that you've been given, after every situation that you've been given, where the company refuses to take zero risks, where the company refuses to hand out wins and losses and have to dance around wins and losses because they're so afraid to beat people, which is a fucking epidemic in pro wrestling, not just in WWE. Do you genuinely believe that this company who's giving you nothing but fucking Sesame Street booking for 24 plus months, do you genuinely think that WWE, that Triple H, is going to take Obafemi across 2 nights and have him beat Brock Lesnar and beat Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of SummerSlam over 2 nights and crown Obafemi the new man in WWE, the new GOAT in WWE? Brother, chat, I would believe it if they let us in and took some risks over the last 24 months. We've got none of that. We've got no indication of that ever happening. And I don't know why you would trust that type of situation playing out and happening when we've been given absolutely nothing, even remotely close to why anybody would believe that. What has the company done in the last 24 months that you think WWE is going to play that same scenario out at SummerSlam? My first feeling towards that is it's not going to happen. Could it happen? Sure. Sure. Do I see it happening? No. No, I don't. That would be WWE really going against everything they truly believe in. Everything. Should Oba be the World Heavyweight Champion? Yes. Yes, he should. Would I prefer Obafemi as the World Heavyweight Champion over Roman Reigns? Yes. Yes, I would. Everything that Roman Reigns is doing right now does not require him to be the World Heavyweight Champion. He's done nothing. He's back to taking several weeks off at a time, only to come back when things really need him. He's got Jacob there, he's got Jimmy, he's got Jay. We're slowly settling back into what we were doing in 2023. The thing is, if Oba wins the World Heavyweight Championship, I can't sit here without asking, what's next? Who does Oba feud with? Who does Oba defend the World Heavyweight Championship against? Who does WWE line up for Obafemi? Everybody's so hasty to make Obafemi the World Heavyweight Champion. Meanwhile, I haven't heard one singular thought that makes sense. I haven't heard one name that makes sense, that sounds good, that you throw in there with Obafemi as the World Heavyweight Champion. Which makes me believe giving Obafemi the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam may actually be something that everybody wants, but I don't think that WWE nor the fan base can handle an Obafemi World Championship title run because they don't have a fucking clue on how to book one. So if that's the best that we got, if I don't know is the best that we got, I think we should wait on crowning Oba at WrestleMania. Having him win the Royal Rumble and having him win the title at Mania is a real symbolic way to say, this is our fucking guy now. Not winning King of the Ring, not wrestling Jey Uso, and not doing it over a 2-night SummerSlam. The other thing I don't like about that is you're going to be splitting time with Oba on television, having him build a match with Brock, and then having him build a match with Roman Reigns at the same time. Now, unless you don't care what Roman does on television going into the second biggest show of the year, if you don't care that Roman get involved in a story going into SummerSlam, then I guess you just don't give a shit. But the way that I look at it is, if you're going to do Oba and Roman, then you need to give 100% of your undivided attention to Oba and Roman. You need a story for Oba and Roman. You need a reason for people to get on board more than just it being a great match or it being a match that people want to see. Don't get me started on Well, JD, it's a match that is going to sell out SummerSlam. Motherfucker, how many times do I need to repeat myself? If you give a match that everybody wants, a story, the match that you want to see is going to be better than it just being a fucking match. You'll actually be given a reason to emotionally invest in both Oba and Roman. I am sick and tired of booking a show that just has matches, because a pro wrestling show should be about the matches. A pro wrestling show should be about the pro wrestling. 50% of this business is story. Half of the reason why you care is because you invest in the story that they're telling. The pro wrestling, honestly, is just the cherry on top of the cake. If you get everything else that lines up leading into the match on point, then the match itself is going to be the closing chapter of the story that you're telling. I don't know why this is such a foreign concept. I don't know why I have to repeat myself. Why would you want Obafemi and Roman Reigns only 50% going into Mania, while the other 50% is Oba and Brock? It doesn't even make sense to me. You're actively sabotaging SummerSlam if you go and do something like that. So no Brock tonight. We got no Brock. He didn't take Oba out of the tournament. We got no fill-in, no Randy Orton, no CM Punk. It is Jey Uso versus Obafemi. And apparently it's going to open the show. And you all know what that means. Brock flies in, Brock does his spot, Brock flies home. We could realistically be looking at King E by the time we are live on Saturday afternoon. We could realistically be looking at Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. Io Sky and Liv Morgan. They had a face-to-face tonight. This Judgment Day nonsense, to me, is just as nauseating as the Bloodline stuff. I don't know how you guys feel about the Judgment Day. I don't know how you look at the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day used to be a faction that I enjoyed seeing on television. The Judgment Day used to be a faction that when you brought people into the Judgment Day, they were better off for it. Now we got Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough being electrocuted by Danhausen. Liv Morgan is screeching her way, saying she's the greatest women's champion of all time. Meanwhile, this is one of the most worst, deplorable reigns in the history of that title. She hasn't defended the title once since winning it at WrestleMania. And she's in a tournament, which is fucking ridiculous, that is set up beforehand to find an opponent for her at SummerSlam. Meanwhile, she's going on this crusade of saying, I want all the gold. Well, why don't you worry about the gold that you got on your shoulder and maybe defending that gold against other women in the division, instead of worrying about the other championship? Or unifying the championships, which is never going to happen. I don't know what we do with Io or Liv. I don't know if Io wins the Queen of the Ring and challenges Liv again at SummerSlam. I said it on Friday. If we're getting the match on Saturday, I don't really care to see it again 4 weeks, 5 weeks later at SummerSlam. Unless Io wins and challenges Rhea at SummerSlam. We'll try and flesh out the Queen and King of the Ring and the Night of Champions predictions. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins are headed towards a steel cage match. Braun Breaker took Rollins out of the King of the Ring tournament. And Seth Rollins cost the Division the Tag Team Championships tonight against the Street Profits. And Lyra Valkyria turns heel. Yes! Bird Lady has gone rogue. She's left the nest. She turned heel on Bayley. And I actually don't mind it. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw tonight. right here. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for your June 22nd, 2026. Again, thank you guys for a great Saturday night, man. We killed it with the SmackDown stream. Makes you wonder why I'm not covering the show on Saturday nights instead of Friday nights. Either that or you guys really missed me on Friday. I don't know. But you guys killed it on Saturday night, man. Thank you for the great SmackDown turnout. We got a great week coming up. We got tonight, obviously, we got tomorrow morning with Jonathan Coachman. I'll be live with the coach for the 2 count. We'll talk about Night of Champions and this TNA stuff this week, man. There's a lot of TNA news. People being removed from positions, people being released and fired, people being brought in to fill those creative roles. We'll talk about all that stuff. And then obviously tomorrow night, Tuesday Night Titans, episode 152 with the Solid Monster. We're going to have a great time tomorrow, so make sure you are strapped in for some great content. As usual, just call me Mr. Tuesday. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below. Strive for 700 likes is a nice modest goal. We're more than halfway there. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. It's the best way to support what we do here. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, opinions, chime in via the super chat. Like I said, go check out all the great content from last week on the channel. It's all on the homepage. Go pick yourself up a t-shirt. You guys are supporting really well with these, man. I'm happy to see it. TNT's newest design. Right now available on fourthwall.com. Link is down in the description, so go and check that out. And I want to thank those who have recently picked up this great-looking design. Again, now available on fourthwall.com, the home of OTS and Tuesday Night Titans. And tonight we're sponsored by my great friends over at Blue Chew. Get Blue Chew Gold, courtesy of the podcast. Code JD at checkout. You buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd month for free. Plus, you're going to get 10% off and free shipping for your first order. Blue Chew Gold at BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout. I want to thank them for always being a great friend and a great sponsor right here on Off the Script. Start things off here with Monday night right at the top. And we get Obafemi. This was the loudest that the O2 Arena was on Monday night. They did not get any louder than this for Obafemi. I like this thing. I don't know when they started doing this. I don't have a time frame of when they started doing this, but they show Oba's silhouette. Must be a couple of weeks old at least. Really just kind of noticed it tonight, honestly. But they got this big spotlight in the crowd, and Oba, his silhouette in the crowd. His shadowy silhouette when he's in the ring. Love it. It's fucking great. So, he struts to the ring. He says he is backed by destiny. And he said, she's been very kind to me. He said destiny allowed him to slay the beast and get this far in the tournament. He said destiny is still on his side. So this weekend at Night of Champions, he's going to become the new King of the Ring. He said, should he go after the WWE Championship or World's Heavyweight Championship if he wins, he only has these 2 options in front of him. He was interrupted by Jey Uso. Jey Uso took his time to get to the ring. Jey Uso yeeted in the crowd. Jey Uso heated in the ring. Not once, but twice. The music stops. The poor schmucks in London wanted Jey Uso to run it back. Obafemi said, "Don't you dare run it back or I'm going to put a stop to it immediately." Jey Uso did not adhere to Oba's warning. He ran it back, and we got more yeeting. It was at this point I tweeted, "Even the mere thought of Jey Uso beating Obafemi in any possible scenario would be the worst creative decision of the modern era. Just a complete clown show. Like, brother, you are on the way to the King of the Ring. You have a monstrous mountain of a man standing in the ring with you, and you want to pretend like you're at some fucking rave, and you're standing on the table at the club, and you're fucking partying it up. If I want to go see people dancing on the fucking countertops or on the bar tops, I'll take my ass down to Coyote Ugly and fucking chug some cheap tequila. This is the King of the Ring tournament. Get with the program. Let's get this done." I don't understand why he continues to want to party. Now he wants to party. The last few weeks he was all mega serious about LA Knight. Now he wants to fucking party. Bro, when I told you that this man was so out of fucking breath, I mean, I know everybody's cardio is probably not where it needs to be. Jey Uso was so out of breath, bro, he could not even string together multiple words in a sentence for this promo. After every 3 or 4 words, he had to take a huge, deep breath to make sure he got his breath. Uso is recounting all the times that he's been counted out, meaning fans not believing in him. When he won the Royal Rumble, fans counted me out. When I won the world title, they counted me out. When we shook arenas, they were counting me out. And now they're counting me out in the King of the Ring finals because I'm going one-on-one with Obafemi. But Uso is going to win anyway, he says. And he's going to take Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam and challenge for the WWE Championship. And then he says that was Oba's one warning shot. And he does this thing now where he makes the gun's hand signal and he's pow, like he's playing fucking cops and robbers now. Either that or he's taking some influence from Kenny Omega. And then he throws the ones in the air. Oba, he goes on to make fun of Jey Uso's warning shot line. If you do shoot, don't miss. Because if you do, I will destroy you. And if you don't, I will still destroy you. He said at the end of the day, he's not the family member he is ultimately concerned about. He told him to tell his cousin he is coming for him. He didn't mention Roman Reigns by name. Is he talking about Roman? Is he worried about Roman? Is he worried about Jacob Fatu? I don't know. This didn't really do anything to get me any more excited about this match. In fact, the fact that we didn't get Brock Lesnar has me more concerned than excited. I don't want to repeat myself after I open the show and open the podcast tonight, talking about my feelings on Oba and Jey Uso. WWE If they have Jay beat Oba because of Brock, I cannot begin to tell you how that will blow up in WWE's face, how that will blow up in Triple H's face. People might actually be calling for Triple H's head instead of Brock Lesnar's head. Oba wants Brock's head. The fans are going to want Triple H's head on their fucking fireplace mantle. Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, they do not symbolize a SummerSlam main event. Nobody's interested in either of those matches. If you are, you're lying. You're not. You're programmed and brainwashed by WWE to think that these are genuine main events that fans want to see. Nobody wants to see, no real fan wants to see either of those matches. We've been there, done that with Jey and Roman. Their match sucked dick a few years ago at SummerSlam. Jey Uso couldn't even bring out a great match with CM Punk on November 1st, that Saturday night's main event. What makes you think I want to see Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes in the main event of SummerSlam? If WWE does Oba and Brock on night 1 and Oba and Roman on night 2, with Oba beating Jey Uso on Saturday, I could see it. I don't think that's the best route to take. I think you're really stretching the fucking limits with Oba. I don't think you should be splitting your attention between Brock Oba and Brock Roman. I think you need to focus on one or the other. I don't think Oba and Roman deserves 50% of the build. It deserves 100. And I don't know why you would do that on night 1 and night 2 when night 1 does not have anything to do with night 2. You're just doing it because it's Oba. And again, if Oba does do all of this and conquer Brock and conquer Roman and win the World Heavyweight Championship, what do you have planned for Oba? What do you got planned? You know, a lot of people really aren't even taking this into consideration either. I don't know if WWE is going to have Crown Jewel on the calendar or not. They don't usually announce all their pay-per-views in one singular rollout. There's logistics that need to be figured out, venues that need to be figured out. If Crown Jewel is going to take place, as it has the last couple of years, that gives us WWE Champion versus World Heavyweight Champion. Do you think WWE is going to bypass Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes as their world champions? You think WWE is going to bypass a Roman versus Cody 3? If they have it accessible to them, they will do it. That match sells out the building on its own. On the other hand, if you got Rhea and Liv holding the world championships, then you get Rhea and Liv, and we go back to that as well. And Liv is a former Crown Jewel champion. Cody is a former Crown Jewel champion. Nobody's really taking that into consideration either. Another thing people aren't taking into consideration is if we do this proposed fan theory with Oba and Brock on night 1 and then Oba and Roman on night 2, what exactly does Seth Rollins do at SummerSlam? Has anybody figured out a real solid plan for Seth Rollins, or are we booking Seth Rollins in an absolutely nothing, throwaway, I don't give a shit match for a 2-night SummerSlam? What are we doing there? Are we doing a 6-man tag? We're going to team Seth Rollins up with the Profits against a returning Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Austin Theory at SummerSlam in a big 6-man tag team extrava. I don't give a fuck. Nobody's really asked that question, huh? Or how about this? Maybe we go Seth versus Braun again, because WWE is so fucking terrible. Who wants to see that? You'd think that them competing inside a steel cage, that would kind of seal the deal on their feud, right? For all we know, that things are just getting started with the steel cage, because we're supposed to believe that the steel cage is supposed to keep everybody from the outside unable to get into the ring. They'll probably fuck things up, and the steel cage match and the steel cage stipulations are going to be rendered useless, which will then lead to Seth Rollins' very uninspired SummerSlam match. We went from Rollins making title belt motions, mentioning Roman, wanting the World Heavyweight Championship back that he never lost, mind you, and doing Rollins and Reigns to doing Rollins and what? What exactly are we doing with Rollins going into SummerSlam if we do Oba Brock, Oba Roman? What's Cody getting at SummerSlam? Is CM Punk going to come back and fall out of the sky and challenge Cody Rhodes to a WWE Championship match? Because, let's be real, he can. He can do whatever he wants. Are we going to do Cody versus Sammy? What is Gunther going to do at SummerSlam? A lot of questions. But everybody's fixated on Oba Brock, Oba Roman, night 1, night 2. WWE has a whole lot of shit just staring them in the face. Yeah, we're sitting here terrified out of our fucking boots that we may get King Yi. Bro, if there's anybody any less deserving of a King of the Ring, it's Jey Uso. And I don't mean that personally towards Jey Uso. I don't know Jey Uso. But the way that Jey Uso's been booked and the way Jey Uso's been presented, it makes Jey Uso that much less desirable in the eyes of the fans. Fans do not want a plunger taken to their mouth, shoved down their throat in regards to a specific talent. We've been there, done that so many years with Vince McMahon, and now Triple H is doing that with Jey Uso. This is where WWE fucked up. If you had visions of Brock and Oba, then you should have stuck with Brock and Oba. If you wanted Brock and Oba, Brock should have already showed face already and ruined Oba's chances of winning King of the Ring. I'm sorry, where's CM Punk again? Is he injured? How much time did he request off? Doesn't he work for WWE and not the other way around? All of this could have been spared if CM Punk was in the King of the Ring, won the King of the Ring, and challenged Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at King of the Ring. We wouldn't be here complaining week in and week out about King fucking Yeet. The best course of action for SummerSlam is as follows, in my personal opinion. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. Now, I don't know how we get there. If they give Jey Uso the King of the Ring, we're looking at Jey versus Cody. Or Jey versus Roman. We might not have any other choice. Just based on what we have in front of us. Jey versus Cody is a realistic possibility. That will not be main eventing SummerSlam for night 2. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. That is your title match. That is your night 2 closer. Oba versus Brock. That will take place. It doesn't happen anywhere else but SummerSlam in Minneapolis. Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair. I think that's where we get that done. Io versus Rhea. That's what I do there. Why Io versus Rhea? Well, if you look at SmackDown, there really isn't anybody that I want to see wrestle Rhea Ripley, and Charlotte Flair is going to be preoccupied with Jade Cargill. There's nobody else on that show that is worthy of a SummerSlam World Championship match. JC Jane could be in discussion, but WWE hasn't done anything with JC Jane, and they're meddling around with the tag team titles. Io versus Rhea is the proper way to go. Liv versus Stephanie is the way to go, depending on if Stephanie is ready to come back, which I would say so. That's what we do there. Outside that, I can't figure out what we do. What Sami Zayn does, what CM Punk does, what Gunther does. WWE has a big uphill battle for SummerSlam. Big. Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes single-handedly derails SummerSlam from being great. That match being on the card brings it down to being, I don't give a fuck about anything happening with WWE, because Jey Uso and the Bloodline will continue to dominate television. LA Knight. He confronted Adam Pearce. He was walking and talking on his phone. LA Knight goes right up to Adam Pearce and asked if it was Roman Reigns or Jacob Fatu. He asked if the Bloodline had compromising photos of him. Knight said he let them get away with attacking Eric Andre. Pearce says they were fined for it. Knight complained. Jimmy Uso asks, "What's going on, Us? Hit me in the back with the chair?" Knight says, "Don't take it personally, you were just collateral damage." Pearce told them to calm down. Everyone's yelling at each other. LA Knight told Adam Pearce to shut up. Adam Pearce got very angry. "Who are you telling to shut up?" LA Knight saying, "I'm telling you to shut up." He then booked LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. LA Knight then looks at Jimmy Uso and says, "I got an idea. How about me and you in the ring tonight?" Jimmy Uso then said, "Adam Pearce just said that. What are you talking about? I didn't hear what he had to say. I think this is a great idea. Are you down or not?" Match was made. LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso. Yeah. I like the interactions between all three of them. It felt real. Again, I'm going to say it again. I think the interactions between LA Knight and the Bloodline are real and genuine, and you can feel it. Because that's how he legitimately feels. He is frustrated. You sense, you feel his frustration through his character work. Jackie Redmond interviewed Lyra Valkyria and Bayley backstage. Lyra says they need this win, and this is their time. Bayley says they've been the best tag team in the division for a very long time, and tonight they are going to prove it. She said Lyra got the match for them tonight. She said their trust and teamwork will make all the difference. Too bad you're wrestling Brie Bella and Paige, who I don't give a single solitary shit about. Never mind them, I don't give a shit about the women's tag team titles either. Absolute mid-card fodder are the women's tag team titles. Paige is back in England. Lyra started things off, drop kick Paige. She was right out of the gate. House on fire was Lyra. Bayley tags in. She got a near fall with a roll-up. Brie got the tag. She and Paige double-team Bayley with a big bulldog. Paige gets to the ropes. Brie comes in, delivers the yes kicks. Bayley comes right back, hits Brie with a Bayley to belly suplex. Paige yanked Brie out of the ring to break up the cover. So the babyfaces were going right for the kill. So we go to a commercial break after Paige pulled Brie out of the ring. Bella came off the middle rope, drop kick to Bayley. We got both teams making tags. Paige was the recipient of a hot tag. In London, I'm not surprised. Paige went for the Paige Turner, but Lyra countered into a Nightwing for a 2 count. Bayley went for a Bayley to belly on Brie. She got sent out to the floor. Lyra hits a Fisherman Buster on Paige. She looked for a second one, but Paige held on in the Fisherman Buster and delivered a Rampage on Lyra, dropping her right on her forehead. 1, 2, 3. Brie and Paige retain the women's tag team titles in a very unenthusiastic, uninspired match that only went 8 minutes. The tag team titles and the match itself were background noise for what happened after the match. So Bayley, she was on the outside and she was late to break up the cover. She did not break the cover up. Lyra was pinned. So she gets in the ring. She's patting Lyra on the back. She's hugging Lyra. She's like, it's all right. We're the best. We're still the best team. We're both the best. She helped her up. Lyra all of a sudden snaps and attacks Bayley. She takes Bayley down, starts throwing bombs and rights and lefts, and then delivers a Nightwing to Bayley. As producers and agents and referees come out to pull Lyra off of Bayley, asking Lyra, what got into you? What do you think you're doing? Said Jessica Carr. I actually saw a heel turn coming. I just didn't think WWE would turn Lyra. I thought they'd go right back to Bayley being a heel, being that Bayley has some skin in the game as a heel and actually excel at being a heel. Lyra being a heel is going to be a different take completely on Lyra Valkyria. I don't necessarily hate it. Lyra is very, very goody two-shoes. Lyra has not connected with the audience that we all thought she would. There's some connection there. People come out and sing her opening theme to the beat of her theme. They do the bird noises during her theme, the squawks during her opening theme. She hasn't connected with the fan base as a babyface. She's very cringy. She's got that campy comedy silliness to her, which is great. It's great if you're looking for something like that on Bumble or Tinder. I'm not here to date Lyra Valkyria. I don't care about her witty and her sense of humor, her silliness. It's not connecting with the audience. Might be good for you if you're looking for a date and you want to take Lyra out to dinner. I'm here watching Lyra perform as a professional athlete, and I'm not connecting with Lyra Valkyria. Maybe Lyra with some edge is the way to go. Bayley's the right person to tap into that. Bayley is a well-respected female in the division. She's a Hall of Famer. She hasn't really done much in the last few years either. She's just there. But if Bayley can help Lyra get to where she needs to be as a heel, I don't think this is a bad idea. Now it's up to WWE to show us a different side of Lyra. We can't be seeing the witty and the comedic side of Lyra Valkyria. We can't need to be seeing the silliness of Lyra Valkyria. We need to see a Lyra that is unhinged. We need to see a Lyra that's downright psychotic. She snapped. She lost against Sol Ruka. She lost here against Paige and Brie. Blamed Bayley and took her frustrations out on Bayley. Again, I don't necessarily think this is a bad idea. It wasn't working, and we've been at this for a very long time with Lyra. It's more than overdue. Let's see what she does with it. Let's see how she fares being a bad guy. Does she have it in her? Is she going to be capable of getting the fans to boo her? Is she going to be a good enough promo where the fans believe everything she's saying? I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is, and I know this from personal experience, it's easy to get people to dislike you. It is very difficult to get people to like you. And that same thing exists in pro wrestling. Chad Gable. He made his ring entrance. I'm still not sold on this new Chad Gable theme song, but this is what we're given. He says he's had one hell of a month. And it all started when he lost his mask in Mexico. He said losing the mask showed him he lost more than the last couple years, including his self-respect, his reputation, his dignity, and he lost some really good friends. He said Rey Mysterio taught him it's never too late to right some wrongs. But I also realized that I have a few more people to apologize to. So he invited Otis, Akira Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree out to the ring. Gable looks at Maxine and tells Maxine that she had potential from the start and always wanted to be the best she could be. He said she won a singles title, which he hasn't accomplished yet himself, which is unreal to me. He says the way that he treated her was pathetic, and that is all his fault. He told Tozawa that he has the heart of a lion, and he tried to smother him and hold him back. He said the way he treated him was pathetic and embarrassing. He told Otis that he is the most loyal friend anyone on this planet could have. He says he would have taken a bullet for Otis. His voice starts to crack, and he starts to get overly emotional when he's talking to Otis, because they've been friends for 20 years plus. He misses Otis. He says they trained at the Olympic Training Center together, and he held his girls in his arms the day they were born. He says he threw it all away because he wanted the Intercontinental title more than his valued friendship with Otis. He said the three of them don't owe him a thing, but he owes them an apology. He looked at them in the eye and said, "I'm sorry." Otis turned away and after Gable offered a handshake, he looked at Maxine, he looked at Tozawa, he contemplated. He was about to shake Gable's hand when Maxine stepped in between Gable and Otis. She said she used to believe every word that came out of Gable's mouth, but now she sees everything about him is nothing but a lie. She says all they want to believe him, or they all want to believe him, and they want to give him a second chance. But she does not want to give Gable a second chance. Fans are starting now to boo Maxine Dupree. She asked Gable all the things that he did. All the things that he did to her. Throwing back some of the instances that he was absolutely deplorable to her. Gable left them high and dry, all alone, to drown as he went to go chase his own dreams. She said everything has always been about Chad Gable. Even this apology is all about Chad Gable. She said when she won her title, they realized they did not need him, and they don't need him now. She shoved the mic in Gable's chest and said they're leaving without him. Tozawa followed. Otis paused. He seemed very conflicted. Fans were chanting, "Gable, Gable," as he looked very sad. Otis ended up walking away with Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. I don't know what the end result is going to be here. I thought they'd at least get Otis to apologize or Gable to at least apologize to Otis and Otis accept Gable's apology. Tozawa as well. I thought Maxine would kind of leave on her own because we've been seeing her talk to Austin Theory and get involved in Vision business. Maybe that's exactly what is going to end up happening, and that is exactly what's going to be the catalyst for Otis and Tozawa to leave Maxine, as Maxine goes off with the Vision. And then Gable and Tozawa, they can go and accept Gable's apology without being tied to Maxine Dupree. The only thing I can think of is that they didn't want to give us this now because Maxine isn't really acting like the old Maxine. Maxine is being influenced by Austin Theory. And they know that. They just don't want to believe it. And they don't want to upset Maxine Dupree because at the same time they also care and respect Maxine Dupree. I mean, everything that Gable did, they were right there along with Maxine. They suffered the same embarrassment and the same ridicule as Maxine did. But they're going to realize that Maxine is not the same Maxine that was in that moment when Chad Gable was ridiculing all three of them. And Maxine is going to be prepared to leave both Otis and Tozawa to go with Theory. When, where, and how all that comes about, I don't know, but there's a reason why we've seen Maxine talk to Austin Theory in the back on multiple occasions and get into rental cars with Austin Theory on multiple occasions. All I want from Gable is I want them to continue to push Chad Gable. All I want from Gable is I want Gable to re-find himself as that fucking killer. I get that he needs to go on this apology tour. I understand that he's upset about his past mistakes. But I don't want to see Chad Gable crying every week. I don't want to see Chad Gable getting choked up and have his voice crack when he's talking to people that he once wronged. I don't want to see Chad Gable being the guy that is so prim and proper and he's got to respect everybody. I need to see Chad Gable be a visceral killer on his way to beating whoever the Intercontinental Champion is come SummerSlam. I don't know how we get there, but enough of the Chad Gable sympathy tour. They clearly didn't want anything to do with him. He needs to go back and find that killer instinct. We do not need to see fucking crying every week Chad Gable. We already get enough of that with Charlotte Flair and fucking whoever else wants to cry every week. Ray Phoenix. He went one-on-one with Ethan Page. We got Ray Phoenix, or not Ray Phoenix, Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee versus Ethan Page. I'm thinking Ray Phoenix because Ray Phoenix and Penta, I'm thinking how we get them back involved with each other. It's been a normal fucking discussion every week. How we get the tag team title situation back to where it needs to be. And talking about all the luchadors, he apologized, did Gable to Ray Phoenix and Rey Mysterio and Penta. Dragon Lee versus Ethan Page, one-on-one. This started off really, really, really slow. The crowd was not into this at all. Which makes you wonder, what happened to London tonight for Monday Night Raw? Now, both of these guys are very much in discussion for an Intercontinental Championship. They're all kind of involved with each other. We didn't get Rusev out there, who's been linked to Ethan Page. He was not out there. Don't know where he was. Don't know why he was not out there. I don't know. So, we'll pick it up after the commercial break here. This also went 10 minutes, which is 7 minutes of television time on Monday. Not nearly enough time, but... Page is beating up Dragon Lee. Apparently, before the commercial break, Page took Dragon Lee's mask and flipped it around and shoved him to the outside. So he was once again disrespecting Lucha Libre. Everybody wants to disrespect Lucha Libre. So Page is leveling Lee with some forearms. Dragon Lee caught Page with a big German suplex. Tornado DDT, goes for a cover, and only gets a 2 count. Lee then charges at Paige. Paige got a boot up, and that led to a 2 count for Paige. Dragon Lee, some people. I didn't know people genuinely disliked Sol Ruka this much. It's unbelievable to me. The woman's been on the main roster for about a month and a half, and she's already got some of the biggest haters. What Io is saying, she's yelling and screaming in Japanese. Liv gets so upset at Io Sky and Corey Graves. Jay wants to know why Jacob was talking to Solo Sikoa on SmackDown. Jacob says, "I don't answer your punk ass," he tells Jay. By orders of the OTC, Solo needed to hear something. Jimmy says that Solo doesn't take orders very well, just like Jacob. None of that matters, according to Jacob. Solo got the message. So they ask, well, what now? What happens now?
Alright, well, might well end the video. I think I made this long enough. Just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Been 2 hours since I made this. Hit that like button, leave a comment. I'll see y'all later.
And he storms into Danhausen's laboratory. Apparently they want their $100,000 back. If you guys
Alright.
For Joe Hendry to make it to their television program, only to not use him. Venting with Roman and Jay. It's not a main event. It's not a main event. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes undoubtedly would need to happen if they book Jay versus Roman. Do they do Sammy and Cody? I could see them doing that. I could see them doing that on night 2. I'm invested. They got me. If you want to do Cody and Sammy night 2, main event, I'm all in. If Sammy doesn't win the title on Saturday, Sammy walking out of SummerSlam with the WWE Championship, brother, I am all in on that. All in. I just don't know what Seth Rollins does. Do they go back and do Punk and Rollins? Close that up? I don't know. I don't know. You would think Punk needs to be back in the plans for SummerSlam. I don't know where they put him. I don't know where they put him. If it's not Cody, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going Jey Uso over Oba. I'm going Io over Liv. I'm going Tiffany over Jade. I'm going Trick Williams over Ricky Sainz. I'm going Seth Rollins over Braun Breaker. And I'm going Cody retaining the WWE Championship. Even though I want Sammy to win, if there is an opportunity to do it, man, you got no better chance than right now to do it. If they want to make Sami Zayn the WWE Champion coming out of Night of Champions, I have absolutely no problem with that. But then you run into the dilemma of, well, Sammy's going to be the champion going into SummerSlam. Does Cody win it back at SummerSlam? Do we get Cody and Sammy rematch and Cody wins it back at SummerSlam? I would rather Sammy win it at SummerSlam and we end SummerSlam with Sami Zayn as the WWE Champion. Either way you want to do it. I think over the next 2 months, Sami Zayn will at least win the WWE Championship. I don't think it's happening in Saudi Arabia. It could. Again, I don't trust this company to give us any difference. This is a company that likes to play it very Sesame Street. They will do what they got to do to maintain their safeness. That's Night of Champions on Saturday. I will be live to talk about it all on Saturday afternoon, immediately after the show. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on this happy hour on Monday afternoon. This is your Monday Night Raw post show right here on Off the Script. And we're going to get into your super chats.
Yeah, I'm going to end the video.